Hello and good morning. Oh my goodness. We're on day 33. Oh, 33 is so special to me. That number 33. So, anyway, I digress a moment to all my global friends. So, it is so appropriate that on day 33 that it is the day that we begin to realize, like day 32 and 33, like day 32 and of course in miracle is the acknowledgement that I have invented a story about everything I see. Now, what we've done thus far, if you're joining me for the first time, what this is A Course in Miracles online experience. I was inspired by Pam Grout she wrote a little book called The Course in Miracle Experiment. She does a lot of books on taking spiritual concepts, putting them into a daily practice, and then reporting from her authentic point of view the results. And I love that kind of book. I've always loved that type of evolution. I love to see people light up. I love to watch myself learn. I love that process. I love teaching. So, bottom line, I was inspired to do that, to commit to this whole year process. And so, the course is always free. The only thing optional is when you begin the Course in Miracles. So you have two choices now. You either decide you want to start from day one. If so, scroll through my feed in the Southern Muse. You can go to my YouTube channel, Muse Life, and click the link. You can also go to my Patreon account and you can follow it. I have a public Patreon account as well, where I have many 8-day challenges and things that help nourish your brain and help you see the best of yourself in your life. Because right here, what's said in the Course in Miracles and on ancient texts everywhere from the beginning of time is that when you understand that you are creating the story between you and every object, every person in your life, that you have characterized people in your life to serve as a reflection to you and your human experience. And so it is with great excitement that I share with you this is Turning Point. We're at day 33. Remember, anything you do in a routine, in small baby steps, affects the whole at its center, at its core. So, what we've been doing over the past 33 days is developing what I call the center. We have been realigning to the center, which is always love. Like, if you're not seeing love, the Course has no tolerance. It is the discipline, it is a strict discipline. Anything I see, if I don't see love, it is something I can say, I'm willing to see this differently. So basically, what's going on, and I'm willing to see it differently. I'm willing to see it differently. You're opening up new neural pathways in order to receive inspiration. It's also being called in the ancient, like shamanism, like what is all of that about? When we put ourselves in experiences in order to cleanse what we call negative emotions, what we're doing is strengthening our ability to see through beyond suffering. You see, that's what's important. It's seeing through the pain in order to cease suffering. Suffering is the repetitive loop. So if you feel stuck in any thought And I say begin with the low self esteem thoughts of yourself. Begin the forgiveness of these thoughts first. As it says, you put the oxygen mask on first. So if you have a relationship that you want to see differently because you so love that person, then you must love the reflection in the mirror. That gives you the capacity to nourish your neurological connections, right? So you begin a habit of detaching almost instantly from anything that you see as irritating. Like you go, whoop, I don't got time to nurture or harbor a spiteful thought. Chaboom! It is meaningless to me. I'm willing to see that differently because it hurts you physically to think a negative thought about someone else. So, if only so you get more oxygen to your brain, so that you stop creating the negative internal emotional chemistry that is a petri dish for any introduced thing into your subconscious. You understand? You must be a host at some level. And I'm not saying you create bad stuff in your life. No, 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 no. Do not twist my words. Let's be clear. I'm saying we are not in control of the events. We have been gifted the free will to see love in every moment. And I am here to report to you on day 33 of this experience. I feel confident. I love everything I see. And this is a practice. It's a new neural pathway. And now, this is when I realize I've invented everything. Therefore, I'm willing to see it differently. Now, the very first time I said aloud to myself, there's another way of looking at this world, I want to share what a little pushback was. So, and I want to help you get beyond this because as a leader, I've developed a lot of I stand behind my word, so I must be right. Like I've made this bed, I must lay in it, kind of a thing. Like I have to suffer leadership. I have to suffer friendship. I have to suffer relationships for some reason because I never chose the traditional. So I don't understand it all totally. I'm beginning to understand it a little bit more of how I've connected some dots and about myself as a woman, as myself as a leader, myself as a teacher, as myself, the whole identity, the whole divine identity of me, connecting those dots and connecting the dots of my life experiences, right? From a different perspective. When I first began, and I brought up a very painful experience in my family that I was still suffering from. And, still seeking. I wasn't seeking. See, I was seeking relief from the pain, and that causes suffering. I wasn't willing to see it differently. And when I applied 33, like that trigger showed up right when I said it, like, oh yeah, but not this one. This one I can't see it any differently. And then I asked myself, well, why couldn't you see it differently? Like, listening to what my rejection was to that thing. Because then the very next thing is because what they want me to see is that I was wrong. And I know that what I did was right. And when I heard myself say such as that, it was as if I said, oh, that's not seeing it differently. Like wanting to be right and then be wrong, or even imagining that they want me to be wrong, is a figure eight frequency, okay, of a power struggle, which is usually a symbol of grieving, a symbol of feeling powerless. So I went, oh, so it wasn't like willing to flip on that side. That was my resistance. It was, how do I stand in alignment with my divine plan and heal this startle response, right? So we're in Mercury in retrograde right now. So this is the time when I can slow down my thinking and look at how I'm putting my words together, my reactive words. And in doing so and applying this, I'm like, okay, what if I took this whole horrible experience and surrendered to it? I played a part in it. I wasn't consciously wanting to hurt anyone, and I ended up hurting a lot of people. And me not seeing how I did that, that was my learning. That was my journey. And I hope that I bless everyone that I've ever hurt 1,000,000,000 times over. So as I continue to share how to develop self-acceptance and be willing to see yourself from a divine perspective. Like, that is what the Course is inviting you to do. It isn't inviting you to change the events or rewrite the story. It is asking you to emotionally perceive it. Are you willing to emotionally perceive it where everyone is the winner? And that we were just in this place of constriction. Could you see that for a moment? And then understanding that disappointment is a sign from your soul that it's time for you to point in a different direction. And that in this power struggle, as I release it, as I honor it, as I bless it, and you can throw it in there right now, bless all of your struggles and release the divine love. Like, are you willing to see your pain through the eyes of love? Because that's the only thing that's real. Everything else you've made up. So, bless you as Mercury is retrograding. And this is a perfect time. And I have a special offer. Check my Southern Muse page. Because it's time, and during this time, I think it would be fabulous. I would love to help you rewrite your story and see it from the perspective of your divine design. Mwah. Much love, y'all. Let's keep this beautiful practice of owning we have not only the power, but the divine right, grace, support in order to imagine beyond the chaos that we may be seeing. Let's use our imagination wisely. And I begin with me.